Okay, Mimi, you're now at our what I call our south gardens. And in our south gardens, we have a lot of unusual varieties of dahlias and forms of dahlias. And we're going to look at them real quick. And these first ones we're going to look at are open-centered dahlias. Now, the other dahlias we looked at, we want them to be closed so you don't see the center. But on the open-center dahlias, we want to see the centers. This is Mystic Fantasy. This is new for us this year, but you'll notice the dark, dark foliage, and that's very prized in dahlias. And it's got a simple single flower, no fuzziness, whereas ones like this is called a collarette, and so you got a little extra row of petals around the center. Okay, these are some more open-centered dahlias. This is a very prize-winning single dahlia called Ainsley. That's developed by Tim Elkner from the Greater Philadelphia Dahlia Society, named after his daughter. And in front of it is Pooh, a long time. Not a very good one, I might add, but striking orange and yellow. But I wanted to point out right in front is a seed pod, and the open center dahlias produce lots of seed pods. And theoretically, if you dried that and grew some seeds, you'd get a lot of open center dahlias, and they would all be different. But we don't want to allow that because we want the blooms to keep going. So I'm going to cut that seed pod off. And it's going to go in the compost because I want that dahlia to keep producing flowers. And if it produces seeds, it's met its purpose in life. By cutting the seeds off, it keeps producing flowers. It's collarette, Alpen cherub, very nice one. A Papa Gold, open center dahlia. This year I chose to throw some ball dahlias in the background because I don't like spaces, I like plants in them. But we have the open center. This is Pipsqueak, another Alpen cherub, another Pooh. And this is not an open center dahlia, but it's a very beautiful dahlia. Should be over in the bicolor. And it is what, Mimi?
Peaches and cream.
There you go. She gets
one of my favorites.
Gets a award. So those are the open center dahlias that I grow. Yeah, you have to stand back because some of these are over 8 feet tall. Next year I'm probably going to cut them back a little more and try and keep them down. But this is a cactus bed, and you can see there's some very frilly called fimbricated cactus, that yellow one way up there, and that red tip with the yellow tips, fimbricated. And you have semi-cactus of the white ones, and the cactus of the red ones are Tom Salk, another old time dahlia. But you can see there's 4 different forms of cactus dahlia, and there's 3 of them right here: fimbricated with the split petals, semi-cactus, the white, and this is a cactus, Tom Salk. This is yet another form of cactus called incurved cactus, and you'll see the petals go towards the center. Either one of those, you can see. That's AC shell there. And this is a cactus, high debut. And another cactus, Clara Houston. These are all giants or larges. And the Windhaven highlight is a medium. That's yellow, obviously. It's only a medium. To cap a nice fuzzy yellow cactus. And to the left down here we have Pineland Princess, Let's see, it's quite striking. Pineland Princess. And a semi-cactus Parkland Rave. So we have stellar dahlias and anemone dahlias, plus a couple mistakes I see. But nevertheless, this is a stellar dahlia, a big prize winner called Bloomquist Pumpkin, very similar to Bloomquist Jean, and just spectacular the way it curves back on itself. And this one also wins lots of awards. We also have this yellow one right here. That's a yellow stellar. The petals are more pointy if you look at them closely. And they look more like dahlias, whereas some of these other things I'm going to show you don't look the first thing like a dahlia. For instance, these anemone dahlias with the fuzzy little noses are an anemone form of dahlias. That's Bloomquist Lariat. More of the stellar. This is Stillwater Becky, and to the right and up is Raspberry Punch. You notice once again they have the pointy petals, but they can be a blend or a more solid color. Some won't even look like dahlias. We have Elvira, which is a mini dahlia, micro dahlia, but it's also called a peony, a micro peony. Doesn't look like a peony to me, but hey, they gave it a name. That's what it is. This is a micro-waterlily called Etoile de Wenzel. That's, believe it or not, has won me a lot of awards. But they got to be less than 2 inches or less. And they certainly fill that bill. That is the bloom. This is Mars, another novelty. I guess they call it maybe they call it a single. They keep changing the classification of it, but it's been around a while. Valley Porcupine, a very old novelty, one of the first novelty dahlias they developed. And this is Japanese Bishop. This is a peony. At least this looks a little more like a peony. It's a peony dahlia, but is blessed with that dark foliage. Orchid dahlias, they supposedly look like an orchid flower. Not to me. Over here there's a couple more, but you can sort of see that one underneath is close. Doesn't look the first thing like a dahlia. Nevertheless, they call it an orchid dahlia. And there's a little other orchid dahlia with a little extra set of petals in there. It's called an orchette. It's like collarette and single. Orchette dahlia. Ginger Wilos, both bunches. They're just finally starting to close in the center now. All summer they've been open in the center, which you don't want if you're showing. So, Mimi, you don't necessarily need to grow dahlias in just a strict dahlia garden. You can work them into your landscape. Here we have a little courtyard, and we've used border dahlias behind annuals to create a nice effect. We're going to walk over here across the terrace, and we're going to look at another use for dahlias, and it's not necessarily in a dahlia garden. And we're coming up, you'll see the reddish coral color dahlias. They are right in front of the evergreen shrubs. And some would say, well, they're too tall, but I like them tall. And when you see them from the front yard, it's nice to see that big splotch of color there. And over here behind them are my Mexican sunflowers, Tithonia, the orange flowers. Now you can't see them because they swallowed up. I have border dahlias under them. So next year I'm going to have to separate them better. And we also have some deadheading to do on our Fire Magic dahlias. So dahlias just aren't for a garden. They're for your landscape too.